Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwantner and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today we have the pleasure of continuing our conversation with Norman Behar. He's the CEO of the Sales Readiness Group.
Gerhard, thank you. Pleasure to be back with you today.
Let's talk about sales coaching and why is it so difficult?
I think sales coaching is difficult because if you think about salespeople, they typically go through sales training. But most sales training, at least historically, has been event-based. And salespeople kind of develop a baseline of performance. They may forget a lot of what they've learned. And then they go out on sales calls and they start just relying on their natural instincts. And I think without ongoing culture and a culture of coaching, those kind of mistakes get inbred and they get very set in their patterns. And so what coaching does is it gives a chance even for your best performers to really unlearn some of the things that they're really not doing so well and develop new skills and best practices in a very safe environment. And that's why we talk about a coaching culture. If coaching was only applied to people who weren't performing well, then it would be somewhat of a punitive culture. Nobody's going to want to be coached. But if you look at great companies, even the CEO may have a personal coach because they know that if you're not getting better in today's economy, you're actually moving backwards.
And that's an interesting idea where you say coaching should not be done just because you want to remedy pain points, but coaching should be done to develop gain points and help people do a lot better than they're already doing.
It's interesting you use the term gains because in our programs we use gains and gaps in performance, and we always talk about coaching by first focusing on the performance gains. We really want to build people's confidence. You think about sales. Right. The amount of rejection that you take on a daily basis, just the issues associated with making contact with people, getting to the right people, going on appointments. It's not an easy job, and in today's world of call avoidance, sales is even becoming more difficult.
Because there are three issues. One is the technology is growing and changing, and salespeople are being pulled into technology training classes, and usually their selling skills suffer because of that. Then there is the total change in skills because social media has really destroyed the old sales processes. So you need to develop new skills in being more social and make social calls instead of cold calls. And then there is their own performance measurement. You know, sales managers want salespeople to perform within a certain process. So to juggle all those three things, it's going to be complicated.
I think that salespeople have a more challenging job ahead of them they've ever had before. If you think about buyers today, they're empowered. They know about your products. They know about your services. Even before you make the call, they've gone to your website. They can pull down the spec sheets. Marketing departments do a fabulous job of pushing out information on products and services. So sales coaching is an opportunity for a sales manager, whether it's an inside team listening in on calls or a field-based team and going out on joint calls, to really kind of say, here are the specific behaviors that we'd really like to work on, recognize those behaviors they're doing very well, and then suggest areas for improvement. And the real key is that they've got to be great at questioning. So let's say you and I went on a joint sales call, and I just started telling you all the things that didn't go so well in the car ride after that call. That's not a positive experience. But if I said, hey, Gerhard, why don't you reflect on this call? Tell me what you think went really well in this call. So let's start with the positives. Where do you think there were some areas for improvement?
Let's do some role plays. I'm the manager and you're the salesperson.
Sure.
And you fumbled a customer objection. The customer said your price is too high. And
I said, what do you mean our price is too high?
Right. So now we're in the car and we're riding, and I ask you, Norman, how do you feel it went?
Well, Gerhard, I think it went pretty well. A lot of our customers are objecting to our price. They see our price point as being higher than our competitors.
Right. Well, what I'd like you to focus on something really more specific. Are there other ways you could have responded to that objection?
So I think, Gerhard, the question you're asking, so I'll get out of the role play for a moment, but that is exactly the way we would want to train someone on how to coach. Is, in other words, can you suggest a better way? So you're getting me as a salesperson to really reflect on what happened in that call. And that's what real learning takes place, is when the person who's doing the learning can kind of come to that revelation on their own. So when we're teaching coaching skills, we're helping people analyze what could I have done better, and then we're going one step further. What are the specific skills they need to get better in those areas?
What I like about that process is that you start out with something that's difficult to address or maybe sensitive, and instead of punishing a salesperson for saying, hey, you made a mistake, then you can say, let's put our heads together and come up with a creative solution on what are the alternatives? How can we handle this better next time?
And then if you think about the logical conclusion of that, we suggest that those coaching moments become the basis for personal development plans. And we believe
Right.
everyone needs a
Right.
personal development
Oh,
plan.
yeah.
Your
Yeah.
top performer,
Right.
your medium performers, your lower performers. How are they going to improve over some period of time?
Right.
What are the actions they're going to take? And then really reinforce those behaviors when they start to get them right.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Norman. We're going to continue our conversation with Norman tomorrow, where we talk about measuring sales performance.